Magic mirror on the wall, is this the fairest live-action Disney remake of them all?
I said, bitch.
Well, hello there! We have finally got around to reviewing the controversial Snow White remake, a movie I expected to walk into and say, it's not gonna be that bad, is it? Woo! This one was a doozy. I have not seen any of the other live-action remakes. This might be the last one. And obviously, this is a retelling of the age-old classic Snow White, where you have a Princess Snow White who has been exiled to the forest by the evil queen who has taken over her village. During the time that Snow White is exiled in the forest with the 7 dwarfs, the evil queen becomes envious because she realizes she is no longer the fairest of them all. I have to point out the fact there is so much outrage over the fact that Gal Gadot is the beautiful evil queen who is envious of Snow White. It's almost as if the point of this film was always that it's not exactly what's on the outside that matters, but you can be the fairest of them all based on your inner beauty. I mean, sure, if life was a Tinder profile, we're swiping right on the evil queen, left on Lord Farquaad. But that's not the way the world works, so I needed to point that out. Media literacy is obviously in the tubes. But getting back to the movie itself, I find it ironic that the most controversial part of it all is actually the movie's best part. I think Gal Gadot gets hated on way too much. I think she's completely fine in this role. I actually think she might be the best part of this, as like the evil queen. I understand she's hamming it up a little bit, but it's like a live-action Disney remake. Don't we want the villain to be kind of like villainous? Like, does she have to be like a cardboard cutout of every other person? Just let her have some fun. And then you have Rachel Zegler, obviously the most controversial part of this film and why it's going to bomb. But I think she's a great singer in this. I think she's actually a great Snow White when you don't put a microphone in front of her face. But as good as her singing is, she cannot save this movie from the word I would describe it as, and that word is flat. Maybe soulless, but I think flat does it better. Movie looks great, don't get me wrong. I think the animations and the world building is really good. Like, I can see kids having fun with this just off the visuals alone. This is also a musical, and I thought the music in this movie was like garbage. Like, from the opening scene, I was like, that's gonna be the tone setter for the entire movie. Rachel Zegler has a good voice, but she can't save the song choices. I mean, the songs are so boring. Every single song during this that came on, except for one, my mind instantly started wandering. They're so generic and boring and flat. There's just nothing memorable about any of these songs. So you don't really have the magic of the animated classics because you just don't care about the songs, and they're way too big of a part of this film because it is a musical. There was only one song I actually liked in this. It was Gal Gadot's as like the evil queen. And again, it's a little bit hammed up because she's trying to be cartoony like the animations were, but I actually think that song, it like fit what she was trying to do. I like that song. Every other song in this film was just absolutely terrible, not gonna lie. I actually was enjoying this movie a decent bit. Like, for the first 20 to 30 minutes, I thought this was going to be another contrarian take by me. But the moment the dwarfs get introduced into this film, this movie falls off a cliff and becomes like unwatchably terrible. And I don't even think the theme of this movie was really earned, because for a while the evil queen's being told by the magic mirror like, hey, you're the fairest of them all, you're the most beautiful. And then a point comes where the magic mirror's like, yeah, actually I lied, Snow White is the most fair of them all. And the evil queen gets pissed off at this, but like the turning point for all of that is Snow White gave this guy a piece of bread. Like, how terrible of a kingdom is this that to become the fairest of them all, you give a guy one piece of bread? Just something to point out, I guess, about how the magic gets lost when you go from animation to live action and you try to make things more realistic. To bridge that gap, you have to kind of get a little bit stupid. All of this being said, though, do I believe this movie is worthy of the conversation around it? Once again, not really. I mean, it's a very bad movie, but it's not as bad as the IMDb rating. 2.1, what are we doing? And I'm a grown man too, so, you know, take my opinion with a grain of salt. I'm sure kids will have a better time than this than all of the adults who are in a pissy fit about it. But I don't personally have anything to compare this to. As I said, this is the only live action movie of these I've seen, probably the last I'm going to see, because this movie had like nothing magical about it. This is actually one of the rare times I will present the question, like, why did this movie need to be made? Why did we need to spend so much money on it? Like, was this story worth retelling in the format it was? The answer to that, clearly no. But overall, I will say, if you put the controversy aside, I don't care about any of that. I'm just judging the movie alone. I think it's a watchable movie, just not very good. I could see kids having a decent time with this. I could see families having a good time with this. But if you're looking for something with a little bit more depth to it, a little bit more magic and heart to it, this is not the movie. This movie feels like an absolute cardboard cutout. Definitely not a movie I would rewatch. This movie was background noise. So if you guys did go out and see Snow White, do you believe it was worthy of the massive internet controversy of the week? Or do you think it was just meh, forgettable? As always, comment down below, like the video, subscribe. Love talking movies with you, but I will see you in the next review. Peace.